Something pretty major just happened in the world of artificial intelligence. It's a move that could seriously change how these powerful systems are built and, how they actually behave.
It really gets to the heart of the whole thing, doesn't it? As AI gets more and more powerful, who's writing the rules? Who decides what's fair, what's safe, and what an AI should or shouldn't do? It's a huge question. Well, for the very first time, we're actually getting a look at an answer. One of the top AI developers just went public with its internal rulebook, the constitution for its models. Anyone can see it, anyone can debate it, and this is a really big deal, because until now, this whole process has been happening completely behind closed doors. So what is this thing, really? It's called the Model Spec, and it's our first real glimpse into the formal instructions that are guiding some of the most advanced AI out there today.
The easiest way to think about it is like an operating manual for the AI's behavior. It's a super detailed guide that literally tells the model how to act. How to handle weird or tricky requests, when it needs to refuse a prompt, and how to stay within safe boundaries.
But you might be wondering, why make this public at all? Why would a company just open up its internal playbook? Well, it all comes down to this massive push for more transparency and accountability in the world of AI. Honestly, this signals a major shift in thinking. By publishing the rules, these developers are basically putting a target on their own back for accountability. They're saying, look, here's what we're aiming for. Now, please, help us find the flaws. This just blows the door wide open for a much bigger, more public conversation about how these systems should be designed. And this is the critical point, right? For any of us to actually trust AI, we have to understand why it does what it does. Having this stuff out in the open is absolutely essential for spotting bias, for making sure things are fair, and for building systems that are truly safe for everyone. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this rulebook actually work when you type in a command? Well, the whole system is built on a very clear chain of command. A great analogy is to think of it like a legal system. The model spec has these big, high-level principles, kind of like a constitution. But it also has very specific rules and examples. Think of it as case law, to help the AI figure out all the messy, unpredictable situations it's going to run into in the real world. So here's how that hierarchy breaks down. At the very top, you have system safety. These rules are absolute, they're non-negotiable, and they always win. Right below that, you have the developer's instructions for a specific app. And then, at the bottom of the chain, that's your request as a user. So if your request conflicts with a safety rule, well, safety wins every time. It's a crystal clear pecking order. This structure leads to a super important distinction between what they call hard rules and defaults. Hard rules are those fundamental, non-negotiable safety boundaries. Think of them as laws. Defaults, on the other hand, are more like helpful suggestions for style or tone, and you, the user, can usually override them. This right here is the key to balancing safety with user freedom. Okay, so we've got the rulebook, but the developers are being really upfront that this is an aspiration, right? It's a target they're still working to hit. There's still a gap between the rules on paper and how the AI acts in reality. Which leads to the big question. Do the models actually follow these rules perfectly 100% of the time? Is there a difference between the document and what gets deployed? The short answer is, yeah, there is. You can actually see this pretty clearly in the data they've shared. There's a steady improvement in how well each new model follows the rules. The trend is definitely going in the right direction, but it's also obvious that no model is perfect yet. And I think that transparency is the whole point. It's a tough, ongoing challenge to make these systems perfectly reliable. So why do these gaps even exist? Well, there are a few reasons. First, there's a simple training lag. The rulebook gets updated way faster than these enormous models can be fully retrained. Second, sometimes models learn the right thing but for the wrong reason. Their internal logic can get a bit tangled. And finally, the real world is just infinitely weird. It's impossible to train an AI on every single bizarre edge case that users are going to throw at it. So all this brings us to the future. Publishing this rulebook isn't the end of the story, not even close. It's really just the beginning of a much, much larger conversation. For this whole framework to actually succeed in the long run, it has to do three things really well. One, it's got to be legible, meaning regular people can actually read and understand it. Two, it needs to be actionable. Can developers use it to build real tests and make decisions? And three, and this is crucial, it has to be revisable, so it can evolve as we learn more and get more feedback. And that is the real takeaway here. This is not a final set of commandments handed down from a mountain. It's the start of a public conversation about what we want our AI to value. It's about bringing more voices and more perspectives into the room.
Which leaves us with that one ultimate question. As these systems get smarter and smarter, who should really get the final say on their values? Now that the rulebook is finally open for everyone to see, that debate can truly begin.